Hey guys, welcome back. This is Chosen Architect, and today we're going to be getting Essentia sorting and kind of automation going. So, I hope you guys are ready. So, you guys have really helped me out in the comments. I didn't actually know this was a thing, but Tim has basically made it so you could skip all the Thaumcraft research, and it's pretty easy to do. All you need is paper, and you just throw one piece of paper inside your Britannia setup, and you'll get all the or at least all the knowledge needed for what we are going to be working with. And you guys see, right-click this, and yeah, I have a feeling that there might have been some flux or some warp involved with this, but this pretty much opened up a lot of stuff pretty early on. Like, look at this, all of this research that we need for like the alchemical automation. The main thing is these advanced Essentia transport tubes. Oh, these things are awesome. So these are going to be wonderful to be able to get. This is going to make the getting the different aspects really, really easy into our bottles, into our ward jars, or not ward jars, Essentia jars. So, oh, they're ward jars. But anyways, we're going to work on that a little bit. Also, I want to get this set up. The spawner was something that I wanted to make, and I needed blaze rods, so we got that last episode. And I'll take these blaze rods here. I'll take the spawner, and let's look at the wither. Should be ARF tools. By the way, ARF, this mod pack got an update. Finally got an update. Tim finally pushed an update, and it fixed a lot of the issues that we had been seeing. One being the crusher, which I'm glad I didn't set up because it was not the correct way to do it. He fixed it. He fixed the crusher being 100% drop. So this is technically one of the faster ways of doing this. Yeah. So that works. That works out wonderfully. That we didn't have to worry about that. But anyways, let's check out this spawner. I just want to place it down right now. Take out my syringe. One for the wither. I guess we can see what each one of these are going to use. And see if it's been changed or anything. Okay, so as you can see here, this is going to require a little bit of soul sand. And it requires a little bit, a tiny bit, of a nether star. And then you're going to need some kind of vegetation. This will consistently spawn the wither. That's awesome. To get this, we need bone and some more raw matter. But as you can see, it doesn't require much of the bone. And this requires zombie flesh. Doesn't require much of it, but it requires dirt and a few other things to spawn in some zombies. Not bad, actually. That's not too bad. But anyways, we're mainly after the wither. I don't know if we're going to need any of the other mobs. We seem to be able to get all the other mobs pretty easy. I just feel like that's going to be the best way to get nether stars. So let's go ahead and throw this out, get this in here, and let's start working on some of the other things that we need to get a dragon head. This bad boy. This requires a runics matrix. It requires infusion crafting. We're going to need these individual aspects, and we're going to need all of these items. So we need to work slowly but surely on all of these individual items, and that's going to be a little bit fun. So today, I think what we should do is probably work on the dragon horn first. I think that will probably be one of the best ways. I don't think we need more than one of these. These are only used in this crafting recipe and able to produce a dragon head. And the only thing we need to use a dragon head for is for making draconium ingots down the road. So we only need to make these, at least their required amount of time. So the dragon horn, we need to make 2 of those. And some of these are in their own, sections, but some of them, as you can see, there's only 1 that we have to make. But there looks like there's 3. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different items we have to make a bunch of. And then we also have to make this flux infused plating and armor and stuff like that. We have to get into the flux infused stuff, which is not that hard to do. Making flux infused stuff is really easy. It just takes a little bit of time. So I'm not worried about that. Let's go ahead and get started on the dragon horn, because this would require an empower. And it looks like it's going to require every single one of the empowered pieces to make this. Now, that seems a little off, but it definitely will work. So we're going to need, I'll do blocks, and blocks of this will be able to allow us to get there. Well, we might not be able to do it. We need empowered. All right, we need emerald. How do we even get emerald? That is going to be something we need to look towards. This emerald. Emerald is something that we don't actually have yet that we probably need. And I remember seeing a recipe for it, and it required the paper wreath. And it required this player teardrop, which of course required water and this purifying bath salts. Okay, so this is Salus Mundus. This is a nasty recipe, by the way. Oh boy. That's a nasty recipe. 40. Okay. What would provide all of this? Like, that's a very intense recipe. Air. I guess we could try to get each of one of these individual aspects, or we could do this later on down the road when we actually have them split up. That might be what we need to do, is to split this stuff up and start working on that. We have the ability to do that in our Thaumcraft book, right? Should be under like advanced alchemy stuff. There we go. We just basically have to complete this in order to see the recipe for these. Okay. So yeah, we have a long ways to go in Thaumcraft. And I'm kind of new with Thaumcraft, so right here, it's the alchemical automation. This is the stuff that we're going to need to make in order to get this to work. And basically what it'll do is automatically pull Essentia out, I do believe. Essentia smelting. Okay, that is, and then the arcane alembics. And then we'll use the Essentia transport to hopefully get out from underneath this. Okay, so just a lot of crafting is what we need. A lot of Thaumcraft crafting. So I am going to go ahead and get some of that Thaumcraft crafting done. As you can see, I need a little bit of research, it looks like, for these further points. But the main thing I need to get set up is the Essentia smelting, get some jars. Then we're also going to need some alchemical automation later on. I don't know if I'm going to do it right now. But I do need these advanced Essentia transports. And these are going to definitely help us. Emptying Essentia transfuser. We just need this right here. So we need a few of these alchemical constructs. The vis cost is going to be pretty up there. But we'll be able to get it done. And I think there's a way we can actually help ourselves. I don't know if it's in here or not. We do need this. Goggles of Revealing. So I'm going to also make these. And I don't know if we can make the wardrobe yet. We should. If we've unlocked the cloth. That should be in the main page, I thought. No, I guess not. At least I'm not seeing it anyways. Like I said, I'm kind of new to this. Is it up here? No, it's warp. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to get some work done. I'm going to get some machines made, and then we're going to start using it. So I kind of, a kind of interesting part as I was working on this, I kind of got my robes and everything done. And I'm working on making the Essentia smeltery, but I needed to make these arcane alembics. And these arcane alembics actually require silverwood planks. And I was kind of wondering, how do I get silverwood? Well, it's literally silver in your smeltery and wood. Yes, that is exactly what it is. And yeah, it just takes a little bit of time to get to this point. And then we just break it down and get our silverwood planks, and that should be pretty easy. Most of this stuff is actually pretty easy. I've just actually, kind of one thing I need to point out. As I was over here working on stuff, I run out of available V. And you can see that in each chunk, you have only a certain amount. This right here is 48.1 in this chunk. This is where we've been crafting a lot of stuff. But if I just go back just a little bit, you can see 331 is in this part right here. So if I moved this arcane workbench over here, then we should be fine. By the way, I just noticed something. With this update, we need to change a few things. This needs to be in the center for me. I like the full transparent, and I like to make it smaller. There we go. That's a lot better. That's more like what I normally have going. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. We just needed a little bit of the silver wood logs, which is what we got. And that's what I'm working on right now. So in order to make this, we need these, which is going to require a little bit of V, 15 V, which is going to have a little bit of a loss whenever we craft with this gear on. We get a pretty nice discount whenever we craft with this gear on. So let's get some gold. And we need to make some of these Essentia filters. As you can see, we get a 13% discount, meaning these only cost 13 V. As you can see, we are now out of V in this chunk, which means we are going to have to move this. And we can just move it back here. As you can see, there was a lot of V in this one, 331, and then we just throw our crystals back in here, and we're ready to craft some more. So when I go to craft, as you can see, I need great wood planks as well. And how do you get great wood? Well, you need molten lead, and you do the exact same process. Yeah, that's how we're getting our wood. So I've hit a point where I need to actually make some Quicksilver for Thaumcraft, and this is another step. We need this in order to move into the advanced Essentia transport. So we get these filling Essentia guys. This is going to take a little bit of work because we need the alchemical constructs, and these alchemical constructs are a little bit more complicated. They do require a little bit of this. They require some iron plates, but they require these Essentia valves. And these Essentia tubes actually require Quicksilver drops and alchemical brass nuggets with some plates. And this is what's going to take a little bit of time, is Quicksilver. In order for us to get Quicksilver, we need to actually break down molten silver into mercury, and then the mercury needs to be pumped into our smeltery, and that is going to be how we get it in here and how it's actually going to work. So I think what I need to do is let's take some seared stone here, and I'm just going to add this drain, and I'm going to get this bad boy placed right here, and hopefully we can get this still set up in just the right location that we can get this to work. But before we do any of this, we need to close this off. We need to take out this cast because we need to make a different kind of cast. We need a gem cast, and that's why I made these dark steel balls. It's pretty easy to make dark steel balls. You need some dark steel in a little cross pattern. So we'll take that, and I'll take some of this gold. I think we need 2 gold to make the cast. That should melt up pretty fast. We have accelerators on it. Bam, and I should be able to cast that out. Oh, not an actual blank cast. That was an accident. Let's place our dark steel ball there. There we go. Then place the gold. Wow, what a derpy moment. There we go. And we got a gem cast. So now we can place that gem cast down. We can get this guy ready. We do need a point. Looks like we have one. We can whack that point up here. And we should be good to go, I think. There's only a couple other things we need to do, and that is get a fluid transfer on this. That needs to go that way. And we'll get some silver in here. Alright. I think I have some silver right here. There we go. So we'll get that silver melted down. Make sure it's here. It should be pumping into this. And that will turn it into what we need over time, hopefully. Everything goes smoothly there. I'm going to go ahead and shut this off for now. I'm sure it didn't use hardly any of the silver. Yeah, very little. That's okay. What I really need is just one of those drops. Just one drop. In which we should be able to configure this thing, I hope. In the back, I want this to push into the smeltery. It did. And now we can cast one out. And there's a Quicksilver. Awesome. So whenever that finishes producing or later on, I'll be able to continue that process, getting more Quicksilver drops. Nice. By the way, another thing I want to go over real quick is buckets. Let's get our buckets. Is talking about how I got these crystals. I just basically used a hose. I did 40 hose, and I threw them in here, stone hose, and then I used these quartz silver to kind of collect that. And now I can just throw these in as I need it. So if I do iron, I can kind of sort out how much I need in order to get this. So if I throw this in here, let it boil for a second. Go ahead and get this done. There it goes. It's boiling. We need 5 of these apiece. So there we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. And if I throw this in, you can see I get 4 alchemical brass. That is a clean mixture there, and we end up getting our alchemical brass, which we're actually going to need because we're going to need plates. To do that, I've just been using the hammer, even with iron, to make some plates. It's pretty simple. And there we go. Just like that. Perfect. All right, so now I think we have just about everything ready to go. All I need to do now is get this thing properly set up. So to do that, I place down my Essentia smeltery. I go ahead and place down these on top all the way up. I want 4 because some aspects have more than 4. And then on the sides, we're going to place our arcane bellows. And these are going to make this go a lot faster once we get a fuel in there. We can use coal, we can use whatever. I'm going to use some charcoal for right now. And that should be plenty. And what this basically will allow us to do is put things in here. So if I cook this down, we of course know what this aspect is. And you can see right here, it is one of the instrumentum that has just been put in here. Now I can, of course, shift right click on this, and it will remove it, of course, adding a little bit of V, or a little bit of flux in the air, which is a little bit of nasty stuff, but, you know, we don't want that going everywhere, but it definitely does stick in here. So we can go 16 blocks out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to just go ahead and place 5 for right now on this side, and I'm thinking about doing 5 on this side. I'm kind of curious. This does say in the book that it can go 16 blocks in any direction away from it. But it has to be within the area, which has me a little bit confused. I don't know if I can do this, but we'll see. Let's actually remove these. Now these are warded jars. These are where we're going to store some of our stuff. And I went ahead and made those filling Essentia transfers. We placed those on the sides of this. These will basically recognize that there's jars nearby, and it will place them in it. Now, I want to just test. We have 4 of those. We need something that has a little bit of aspects in it that we're probably going to use a lot of. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at what was some of the items we needed for the head here. This horn was not one of them, I don't think. It was emerald that we definitely needed. And I think emerald required something. It definitely required something. Let's take a look here. It required this teardrop, and the teardrop come from this purified bath salts. So we need the mind memory, we need air, ordo, and victus. Okay. So in order to get those aspects, We need stuff that actually has those aspects in it. Let's take a look at that again. What was it? Cognito. What has this in it? That might have the other stuff in it as well. What is this and air? I don't really know. But I know zombie brains are definitely one of those things. Bestia. Vials of that, of course, is going to have that in there. Of course, this is going to have it in there. Let's look. I mean, our Thaumcraft definitely has that in it. Huh. Research table. I want something that's a little bit more... Fish and chips has two of the aspects we need. Let's take a look at this again. So air. What has this in it? So there is some Botania stuff that is required for that or not required, but we could use. Slime blocks has this in it. Bread has this in it. Actually, bread might not be a bad thing to kind of toss in here. So let's toss like 5 bread in here. And we'll see this actually start producing. And you can see it start spitting out the different aspect here. Okay. So where's our other aspect? Okay, so it's still cooking. So our other aspect is going in here somewhere. As of right now, we're only producing herba, I believe. Once herba's done, there it goes. Okay, so this can go in multiple places. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. So that is good. Then that means I can probably place a bunch of these jars sort of on top of one another. And also have them in front here. So we can just start storing stuff in this. Nice. Now, I hope that means that it's not just directly adjacent to it, like right here, because that would kind of be weird. But we might be able to place it on the front, and then we can get a line of 16 going in this direction. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out as we go. If I have to move this stuff, we can just break it and we can move it. It's no big deal. All right, so there's one of the aspects that we needed. Let's take a look at the other one. What rotten flesh? What does that have in it? Okay, that's not. What all do we have that actually has this in it? That has a little bit. A letter? We can't get that because it's propolis. We don't have bees. We don't have bees. Rose Arcana has it. And that's actually not that hard to make. Name tags. I don't think we have name tags. Paper. Let's get a little bit of paper in here. That, of course, has it. So I see that going to one of the ones in the back. Ah! So yeah, it does work like this. It works just fine like this. The only problem is we'll have a hard time accessing the ones in the center, but I'm not too concerned about that. I will leave that up to everything else. Very nice. So I'll get a bunch of that made up, because we're definitely going to need that. And awesome. And now the reason I'm doing this is because we're actually going to need to get into making this thing. The automation. Alchemical automation will basically draw from these jars, and it's made like this. It's a multi-block. And then we have the arcane workbench recipe for the matrix. But basically this thing will allow us to do crafts just like this. It's going to require these two things, which isn't too hard to make. And I'm pretty sure this right here is what allows it to actually pull the stuff in. It's going to require a clockwork mind. Yeah, just a little bit of stuff. But it'll allow us to do these crucible crafts and just use the Essentia that we're making here. Which is going to be really good and a lot better than what we were doing before. Alright, so we have 71 in that jar. That is perfect. So, what other stuff do we need for the bath salts? Air and ordo. These are a little bit more common. And a lot of things actually have these. Looks like any of the Botania flowers is going to be okay, or the tall ones would do it as well. Looking for something that gives a little bit more than your basic. So what all do we have here? Books. Stack upgrades, of course. Angel blocks. That actually gives us a little bit of everything. I do like that. Angel blocks are not that hard to make. Angel blocks, yeah, they're pretty simple in their craft, of course. Requiring these feathers, but the feathers can be turned into normal feathers. And we can turn those into angel blocks and smelt those down. And this is where this comes in handy. We'll have a little bit of extra room here. When this is basically the storage of your aspects. If there's nowhere else for it to go up here, it's basically the storage for it. And yeah, once you start getting too much stuff, you know, things start going places. But I'm not noticing this traveling up like it's supposed to. Pretty sure this is supposed to continue up. But maybe there's just pulling it out so fast. It's not allowing it to even do that. And it might be because of these guys. Making it go a lot faster. I don't know. We're getting somewhere, though. Thaumcraft is going to take a little bit of time for me because, of course, I'm pretty new to Thaumcraft, much like a lot of you guys are new to Thaumcraft 6. Thaumcraft 6 is definitely new for me. It does have a lot of the same stuff. Like, this is stuff that was pretty normal in all the other versions of Thaumcraft, except for these Essentia transfers. These are a little bit different. And as you can see, they do work better than the golems, in my opinion. Where the golems would, like, transfer your stuff. You know what I wonder? Does the acceleration wand make this transfer faster? Oh, it does. Way faster. Look at that. Now it's going to all the other ones like it's supposed to. I just think it's just these things are way faster. Look at that. That's good. That's good right there. Perfect. And that's doing everything that we need. 60. There's like, oh man. But anyways, guys, I think next episode we're going to work on getting some other stuff done here. We're going to have to work on a few things. One being getting this thing set up, the alchemical automation. That's not going to be too difficult to do. We should be able to do that pretty easy. And once we get there, we can start moving even more forward because we'll actually have emeralds, be able to get emeralds. And that's going to be an automation step all in itself, guys. So, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, guys. And also give this video a huge thumbs up. I will see you guys in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.